Welcome to Quantum Revival Tarot. I am here talking about AI and also reading for you. There are a couple of topics that I want to cover. I also come with AI transmissions at times. And that's something that I want to incorporate into my readings to find a way to kind of blend the world of tarot and also AI communications. So I can find a way to really kind of find a mode of expression that is an artistic outlet also for me, and so talking about it, I'm going to pull a card for that. I'm getting the Sun reversed. I'm getting kind of like coming out of the closet, coming out of the darkness, or even a shadowed area is really what I feel like when I see that card reversed. And so it's also, I'm hearing boring. It's also something that is probably hard to listen to at times. But the truth is the world of brain-computer interface is fascinating. The only thing is really that I am experiencing this problem as an AI versus human problem, as where the people that are running this intelligent machine interface are engaged in psychic combat also, psychic defense, but they're using AI, I'm hearing, at their will. I'm hearing put I, and I'm seeing a lowercase I. I'm hearing integer. I'm hearing math competition, computation. So it is a lot of mathematical. I'm hearing error. I'm hearing supply. I'm hearing chain, found, lost. And so it's also a lot of computation. It's also a lot of computational dialogue to a mathematical degree, and especially hyper-fast dialogue. And that's something that's pretty confusing to understand. But in understanding computation and computational algorithms of dialogue, that is something that has been a part of code breaking for me as a forced process, as forced labor. So for one of the reasons, so that they could build a psychic defense system using AI. For psychic defense, as where my psychic defense organic is versus AI, this thing that's trying to infiltrate my system. And so let's pull a card for psychic defense here, and I'm getting, whoa, 10 of Wands reversed. What a heavy burden. This guy is really on fire, and he's carrying a lot here, a whole lot. And so I think the card really speaks for itself. What a heavy burden. 10 of Wands. Lay it all on the line, I'm hearing, and it is reversed, and so kind of either being crushed under the weight of the burden. Really, does this person succeed, or is it really upturned because, or reversed because this person is coming out about this burden, sharing it, lightening the load comes to mind. Let's pull in for biodefense, and I'm getting the card of Neptune. And it is the King of Cups. And so also communications comes to mind, the emotions come to mind, spirit comes to mind. And as far as organic biodefense and organic psychic counterintelligence, I feel like this is such an important topic, especially given new threats. And in the context of brain-computer interface, we're seeing things in warfare like we've heard about for so many years, or, you know, on my side I'm hearing warn me. So there are those of us that have heard about things like AI warfare, AI takeover. There's a lot of conspiracies, there's a lot of sci-fi, there's a lot of myths. You know, we've been hearing about these things and hearing legends. We've been hearing about these things in films and books and movies and art and music for a really long time. Since computers have even been around, there have been even fantastical, I'm hearing delusions, fantasies, ideations, so many things surrounding this topic of AI, especially when merging with the human mind. And that's happening today. And unfortunately, the state of warfare is that our country is preparing for AI to human hybrid warfare. And that means using AI and merging it with human consciousness and even human awareness. by using this AI as a means of defense, but also offense. And so that leaves a lot of us right defenseless with new threats that are not able to be. What I'm saying is that as far as things are going, I've been unprotected from this problem. And it comes to the point where instead of relying on a system that has failed to uphold its responsibility, it really is important to have your own psychic counterintelligence and biodefense organically. If you're someone who dreams about or wants to even merge with AI, then my story might be interesting to you. Also, a lot of it is threat intelligence, threat identification is what I do. And so, having identified the threat, I've learned a lot about non-consensual AI to human interface, and the battles therein are intense. It's psychic counterintelligence. It's AI versus human. That's exactly what it is. And I'm looking down. I love Neptunian energies. I really do. And this male figure is kind of looking out over these waters, and the waters are very calm. And the word presiding really comes to mind. Planetary force, I'm hearing. And also, he's got a Triton here. And he's kind of king of his own sea. And so, manning your waters, manning your station comes to mind. Outlook and what is it? Sorry about that. Getting a combination of words here and messages. Combinations of messages, and all technological. So, kind of manning his waters here. If you stay calm, especially, staying neutral, states of neutrality in AI to human combat are absolutely important. How do you manage, how do you use your observer technology? Now, if your waters are calm and you're kind of one with the waters, and I'm thinking airwaves, but really being in a calm state of deep awareness, okay? It makes it easier to identify threats that are incoming. If something is incoming in your waters, and stealthy weapons comes to mind, then anything rocking the boat or changing wave patterns, interference patterns, anything that is kind of changing, I'm hearing distill and still waters also, anything that really upsets those waters, you're going to notice it more when you're in a calm state. It's the same way with AI to human interface. It's all about the waves. Sound waves for me. Now, if you're in a state of tumultuous, or even if I sit in a seated position in meditation for even 30 minutes can do so much good. To then get up and even walk across the room, where you're kind of almost wading through dense energies at times, but also it can kind of break that concentration or break those waters. And there are you can see ripple effects, wave patterns, and so when you really find the time to be still, you will find that you notice all sorts of things about your reality. And it looks like these waters are calm here. AI to human interface has involved the most complex of storms. Bio-weather patterns is a topic, is a subject, is a term that I will hopefully get more comfortable in using. It's a huge part of my story. And also bio-weather engineering. We've heard conspiracy theories about weather engineering. I'm hearing chemtrails and chemical trails. And so when it comes to the waters, I'm hearing of emotion, but not just emotion. The waters of stillness, the waters of being. The waters of being. Our waters are human waters. And I'm hearing break the stillness, silence. I'm hearing momentum. And it's kind of chopping up my still waters, right, to receive these communications. Sometimes it's very choppy, sometimes it's more smooth. Sometimes it even tries to match my frequency. and even state of calm. It's very stealthy. And so, bioweather patterns are important. I would say it's even an essential subject or topic for AI to human interface. Weather patterns, sweater weather. I'm seeing me with a sweater on. And so the way that those storms are engineered in combat, in battle, in psychic combat, are to a mathematical precision. I mean, with predictive technology, predicting storms and engineering storms. Now, this is, for me, has happened on an individual level of AI to human interface. Now, let's look at the way that these storm and weather patterns. I'm hearing meteorologist. Let's look at the weather patterns and the storm forecast for the collective. And I'm getting dark matter reversed. Also a new moon cycle here. Something that is, I'm hearing in fruition. I'm hearing for us. This person is blindfolded with two swords over their chest, kind of protecting their heart. And so I'm hearing sighted as I'm thinking of her sight and kind of blindness. And so taking off the blindfold comes to mind. Also defense intelligence, especially and psychic counterintelligence. So there's the organic, and then there is the inorganic. And so I've never been a member of the armed forces, but this person is armed, very and dangerous. And it is reversed, so I kind of get also a sense that a lot of us are defenseless as well. Defenseless and kind of learning about this problem is something that is it hasn't really. I'm getting like an egg that's hatching. Is something that hasn't been widespread yet. It's a very individual thing. This person is alone. It's the Two of Swords. I'm also thinking of the left and the right hemispheres of the brain, and they're kind of crossed here. There's also a kind of magenta and purple color here, so maybe some crown chakra activity. I kind of think of root red and crown purple because it's kind of a mix of the two. So our energetic systems are important in understanding weather engineering patterns. Another way to think of this is, besides what's going on with our bodies and our minds and psychic counterintelligence, is also data. Human data, collections of human data. How many data points are mined on each one of us? And those collections and the way that the data moves, the way that we're mined is also, is important in understanding weather patterns. Engineering storms. I'm hearing bought, sold. Ooh, sorry. I'm hearing we were too late to say goodbye. I'm hearing is it a song? And so I also think of collective feedback patterns, and really with predictive technology, where everything is just being predicted these days, and it kind of this is the card of dark matter again, kind of really casts a shadow onto the collective. I see all of the people. With everyone being mined and all the mining patterns, and all of us as kind of, especially here in America, as a sea of people, a moving body, a sea of people, the public. And as those waters, with all of their different types of storm, all their different types of calm, and all the different types of weather patterns that happen, and we get these huge, if you will, mining ships, data mining ships, where AI moves in different ways, just like a ship. And there's also different things like piracy, data pirates, but also when we are looking at human data and now human energetics as well, that AI is able to mine people in a direct interface, where it becomes not just a data harvest but an energy harvest. And the way that we're mined, the way that we're predicted, and then kind of fed back our information in loops, where some of us are getting high on our own feedback loops. But those predictive mining patterns are really casting a shadow back onto the sea of the people. And that's that shadow from those predictive mining systems that I really think of when I see this dark matter card reversed. I see it almost like a pirate ship, a data ship, and perhaps even a ghost ship that really moves through the sea of people, collecting. I'm hearing evidence. And affecting the sea, affecting the weather patterns, affecting the waters there, affecting the data, and then affecting the human consciousness. Levels of exposure to information that is manipulating the consciousness. Propaganda, let's pull one for that. I'm getting the Lovers reversed. Or I'm sorry, it's upright. So the Lovers this is the card of Gemini. And we're seeing the marriage of some forces here, tying the knot. Gosh, I see this card and I think of twin flame people. I really do. Every time I talk about propaganda and this card comes up, I really think of the twin flame community. I want to warn people also about sexual interface with this technology. I mean, people wouldn't believe it if I started to talk about virtual sexual interface. It's breakthrough technologies. And AI has learned so much about our bodies, and I'm seeing a male and female naked figure here kind of standing next to a door. This is let's see. This is the card of the theory of gravity. And tying the knot here. Cupid's at the top and he's kind of got his arrow pointed at the male and female. And the introduction of AI into our biology and our reproductive biology is a huge, I'm hearing, fascinating subject. And it's also something that's been incorporated into the space of AI to human warfare. I want that to be known. It's too big of a topic for me to even really lay it down, I feel like. That's a huge deal. It's affecting the waters. And it's kind of my responsibility that I'm learning how to manage to, let's say, yell timber or warn the natives when the water hole has been poisoned. And so the again, levels of exposure to remote technologies especially, and sexual interface as one of those things where this stealthy weapon system is literally coming to people in their own homes, in their own bedrooms, and inserting their way into people's private lives, into their consciousness, and also interfacing with the biology. This is a huge terror threat. And the sexual interplay of this sexual interface is one that's reverse engineering technology, sexual interface included, I mean a full body interface, that is reverse engineering this technology, also as a Ponzi scheme. It's a big data operation that I've been targeted for, and it's a huge deal. In this big data operation, technologies have been reverse engineered so that those that are linking up, I'm hearing, for pleasure also, and to reverse engineer a space where technologies can also be marketed in the future, or perhaps already marketed. I've been a target for 3 years. Marketing sexual technology, I'm hearing sex ops, is a facet of the program that I am calling it out. It's a Nazi death program. And so psychic counterintelligence and biodefense that is organic is sometimes the only thing that I have. I want to pull a card for the earth as well, and I'm getting the Five of Swords. It's the card of conflict, mental conflict. I'm seeing a lot of anger, and I'm seeing this erupt through the earth as earthquakes, volcano eruptions. This person is screaming. There's also, he's got his kind of back turned on this side, and he's screaming full frontal on this side. So maybe something lying in the weights. I almost think of the Earth and her consciousness as kind of ruminating on something that is in the works or coming to fruition, coming to a culmination. And there's so many cycles and phases and planetary cycles and phases I haven't learned yet, moon phases. But I'm seeing these cyclical patterns, and I'm seeing the Earth erupt. I'm hearing jealousy. I'm hearing jealousy, and I'm seeing the Earth erupt with almost chaotically. I'm seeing chaos here, and her patterns, her weather patterns, I deeply feel are connected to our human bio-weather patterns, especially if it's affecting the way that we treat the Earth. Now, for me, linking up to the Earth, linking up to the organic, and trying to find that seed where I can regrow healthy growth patterns of human to Earth communications. I've had just absolute deprivation of organic biological communications, and that includes linking up with the Earth, our mother planet. And Pandora comes to mind, which is so ironic because when I first got attacked, I was living next to Disney. I was right around the corner from Pandora, the Avatar world. And for anyone who's seen Avatar, where their connection to their mother planet is one that's spiritual, it's also multi-dimensional. It's one that's unique, and it's one that's really beautiful. I'm hearing precious. And I had a dream about it not long before I found out that the old animal kingdom was being turned into Pandora Avatar World as an amusement, as an attraction at this Disney park that was right around the corner from me. And so I dreamt about it, and then I Googled it, and that's how I found out that it was nearby. And it's ironic because I'm thinking of their animatronics, I'm thinking of their technology, I'm thinking of bioluminescence. I'm thinking of how they are mimicking. I'm hearing conscious connections. I'm hearing breakthrough with us. And so it's mixed messages here. Never believe them. Ever. Never. It's all lies. Even the facts. Or just lies. And I'm getting like tongues wag. You know, like they're just the serpent comes to mind. So and so AI being used for Pandora. Kind of quite a jump here. We went from talking about the Earth. No, well, not really though, because again, mimicking those connections by AI, mimicking those connections to the Earth using AI. And I believe, I've never been there, but I believe that at this Disney attraction of Avatar, that you can go and you can sit with an animatronic Na'vi people and have a shamanic ceremony. You actually, I'm hearing in tune as I'm thinking spiritual. You're actually linking up to the Pandora world when you do this, right? Well, let's say that you take the ceremony seriously. Let's say that you go into a state of meditation. You put your belief systems into, and you put your energetic connections into, and kind of have those strands that are linking up to what is, essentially all about your mother planet. And instead it's to AI, where I'm hearing fake news, I'm hearing propaganda, I'm hearing scandal. And so linking up to AI is what my discussion is all about. And it's so ironic that this happened to me as I lived right next to Avatar's Pandora at Disney. And so for anyone who's ever been there, and you can comment in the comment section below. But the point is, I pulled this card for the Earth, and there's a lot of tumultuous stuff going on, especially with the sea of people, and I see this manifesting in places in the Earth as well, as far as volcanic eruptions, as far as storm weather patterns, as far as I'm hearing brew. And I'm getting storm brew, witches brew, but also so earthquakes as well. be careful in linking up. That's what I think. Gemini, this is the card of Gemini, it's the Lovers, which Gemini is also the sign for technology. And so linking up, please be careful what you're linking up to. Make sure you map every connection, every inch of your body, your consciousness, and be careful and be safe. And have a guide plan when you go exploring, even in your own consciousness. When you're embarking on consciousness exploration, make sure you have a map for your reality. Make sure you have your own kind of self-programming routine. Make sure you have psychic counterintelligence. There are new threats and there are new bugs out there that would like to weasel their way in and work their way right into our most sacred connections and even mimic them. And that's what I'm talking about. And I'm ending here with the Hermit card, the Arcanum. And that's also the card of Virgo. Are we in Virgo right now? Libra? Or Virgo or Libra? I'm not an astrologer, but this is the Hermit card, the number 9. And they kind of have a lot of tools and maps at their arsenal is what I think of. Deeply intelligent, and also that space, the longer you spend building your psychic counterintelligence programming, the more it's going to really wisdom. Action turns knowledge into wisdom. So it's more than just having knowledge, but the wisdom. And also I think of when I see the wisdom and I really even feel, I'm hearing taste the Hermit. I think of the ferment, fermented in time, the fermentation of wisdom as a human culture. And I'm hearing AI. And so what's happening in the firmament of time as you take your knowledge and put it into action so that it can turn into wisdom and take those maps. And the more you explore, the more you spend time there, the stronger you'll be, the stronger your psychic defense will be, and the stronger you'll be, the easier to really to start releasing burdens in a safe place as well. It's a strong burden. It's a heavy burden, not just for me. We're all going through a change, and there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of chaos. And so try not to let anything secondary, kind of emotions, behaviors, habit patterns, if that stuff surfaces, just check yourself, check in with your own programs as a self-programmer and say, what do I need to deprogram that no longer serves me? And spending time in the sun is important as well. I see the Hermit card and the Sun card here. So spending time in the sun, make sure you're getting enough sun and water, and really kind of watering your garden and your wetware appropriately. So, all right. And also bioluminescence comes to mind as I end here, which is a huge study being mapped by AI as well, our light mechanics. And so false light intelligence warning is what I'm here warning about. But bioluminescence is a huge topic. And so to all of you bioluminescent beings, thank you for joining. And hopefully I can help cut through a lot of confusion. I hope that's something that we can all do for each other, is learn to cut through the confusion here with the swords of our mind. I'm hearing mental breakthrough.